today's episode. What do you think? Hello, and for this episode, I am going to be your, can you guess? Your doctor. So call me Dr. Eyitomi. Because I am going to be a doctor in this episode of Journey to Self. So, have you heard about first aid? I'm sure you've heard about it. I just wanted to ask that question if you've heard about it. Because today, we are going to be talking about how to practice or perform a mental first aid. Yes, how to perform a mental first aid. So when we hear about the word first aid, what comes to our mind is, the immediate medical treatment you give to someone before the arrival of a medical personnel. That's like a simple, very simple definition of what first aid is all about. But in our society, most of the times we are all concerned about our physical health, our physical state of being, that we don't really pay attention to our mental health. Do you understand? So how can we practice or perform a mental first aid? So first of all, I didn't shoot some episodes of Journey to Self because I had to perform a mental first aid on myself. I had to go on a break just to get myself together. And what I would say is it's really helped me to get myself to figure things out. Do you understand? It's really helped me to figure things out a lot. So now I'm going to be talking about some personal experiences here. You understand? So it's more like a story time. So I'm going to talk about some personal experiences so that you can understand where the angle from where I'm coming from. So this is it. I had to go on on a break from social media because I needed to get myself together. Why? Because I'm a kind of person that when I see that a lot of things are happening around me, probably in my society, a lot of negative things, before I have a mental breakdown, I really need to avoid having a mental breakdown, I really need to get away from the noise. So now, we're going to be talking about, as I said, practicing mental first aid. Just like the way you perform a first aid for a physical wound or like a physical damage, you should also perform a first aid on your mental health. So now, what are the steps, to do when you want to practice a mental first aid? First of all, you have to understand your mental health. You have to understand what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. You understand? Or weaknesses. You have to understand your strengths and your weakness. You understand? So now, for me, as I said, I'm going to personalize today's episode to myself so that I can get where I'm coming from. Now, for me, my weaknesses, I think there's a word like that, right? English can be so confusing. So let's just go with weaknesses. Okay, so my weaknesses or weakness, you just have to correct me after this episode because I don't know if it's weakness or weaknesses. Wow. And to think that I actually got first in English when I was in secondary school. anyways, I'm the kind of person that I easily have a mental breakdown when things around me are not going well. Do you understand? Like in society, when there are a lot of killings, a lot of bad news, probably rape or murder or some police brutality, on all these things, when it becomes a lot for me, I tend to break down easily. So you have to understand what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. Some people are, what they call hard guy, nothing gets to them. You understand? While some people are emotional, any little thing can get to them. You understand? And anything can make them have an emotional outburst. And I think I fall into that category, although I'm working on it because in life you have to be strong because a lot of things will happen in life that you don't really plan for. So first of all, you have to understand your mental well-being. Then number two is that you have to do things that pleases you, anything that can give you joy. Now, when I went on a break, I did a lot of things. I watched movies, I read books, I talked to a lot of people because I noticed that in our society, because of this modern world, we don't really have human conversations. What we do is that we're always on our phone 24/7, and we don't really talk to the people around us. So since I took a break from my phone and everything, I talked to a lot of people around me. It was quite fun. So do anything that pleases you. Watch a movie, read books. You can listen to like audiobooks, podcasts, and anything. Go out, have fun. Go to a restaurant, eat a nice meal, go on vacation. Just do anything that pleases you. So number one, I said that you should understand your mental well-being. Number two, do anything that gives you joy. Do anything of pleasure that can give you some, satisfaction to your soul. Because we all need a break at times, yeah? Then number three, try to talk to people. Talk to people that knows a lot about mental health. People that can understand you. People that would not judge you. People that would listen to you. Because most times when we talk to people, most people like talking, they don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. You understand? So talk to people that would understand you, that wouldn't judge you, that understand the angle you're coming from. In other words, you can talk to me because I know a lot about mental health and I go through my own mental episode, yeah, through my own mental breakdowns to understand when things might not be going well for one on a mental level. So talk to someone that understands a lot about mental health. Then number four, try to dissociate yourself from toxic people, from people of bad energy, bad vibes, people that constantly put you down, constantly degrade you, because you don't need that kind of energy for your mental health. Remember, your mental health is as important as your physical health. In fact, your mental health is your physical health. Because when things are not going well for you mentally, it starts to affect you physically. For example, you could start either adding weight or losing weight. You can start having a lot of acne on your face. You can start looking wrinkled. You may not have a good appearance. All these things are physical. You may start having heart palpitations, sweating a lot. Mental health is basically physical health. And the more time that we, start paying attention to our mental well-being, the better for us. Because we should not let our society tell us that we should be, what they call ad guy. Because sometimes you just have to be soft. You understand? You just have to pay attention to the way you're feeling inwards. Because when you don't pay attention to what you're feeling inwards, it will start to affect you outwardly. So that is how to practice a mental first aid. So I'll just say the 4 points I mentioned. Number one, understand your mental state of being. Understand your mental well-being. Number two, do anything that pleases you. Do anything that gives you comfort. Number three, talk to people that understand about mental health. You understand? And number four, dissociate yourself away from people that are toxic for your mental health. So basically, number three is like talk to people that would help your mental health. Then number four is move away from people that would constantly damage your mental health for you, because you don't need that. So once again, thank you for coming to today's episode of Journey to Self with Eyitomi. And I hope I've been able to teach you how to perform a mental first aid. And again, I'm your doctor for today. That's why we have lab coats. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you again on our other episodes. Same time next week. Bye. Love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.